for ended 30th June 2022 was a qualified opinion, and there were two qualification issues.
Outstanding, does the fact still stand, or you have seen action and evidence to correct it?
Chair, this one was responded to satisfactorily.
What was the explanation here, clerk, for the benefit of the Senate?
The prior period adjustment applies to the corrections of an error in the financial statement of a prior period. The prior year adjustment for the year under review was necessitated by a refund of the unspent balances in the county revenue fund account.
Auditor General, is that sensible accounting treatment?
Chair, we found it satisfactory.
Number 2, summary of fixed assets.
Paragraph 2.0, summary of fixed assets. Annex 4 to the financial statements reflects.
I think, again, looking at the time, there are two issues here.
Yes, Chair.
There was no fixed asset register that was up to date.
Yes.
And there was a variance of 414 million that was unexplained. We go straight to the issue. Does the County Assembly have an up-to-date fixed asset register? Mr. Clerk?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Where is it?
It is at the County Assembly premises.
Is it? Do we have a copy here?
Yes, it is Annex 2.
Annex 2.
Yes. Said, where is it?
So Annex 2, is this register prepared in line with the templates that have been issued by the National Treasury? Clerk?
Yes.
So take, for example, motor vehicles. Where are the motor vehicles in your schedule?
It's in the last page of the register.
Try to be a bit loud so that you are audible.
Last page of the register, Mr. Chairman.
How many motor vehicles do you have in the assembly?
Chair, point of order. Can this clerk speak closer to the mic?
Yeah, and clerk, you have nothing to fear. You have not been contemptuous to the Senate, so we cannot move from.
Please speak with.
How many vehicles do you have?
3, Mr. Chairman.
So, if this is your asset register,
Yes.
What is the most important attribute of a vehicle?
Condition.
Condition.
Yes. The number.
How do you describe a car when it comes from the assembly plant? You describe it by what? Engine number or chassis number?
Engine number, yeah.
Where is the engine number or chassis number on your asset register?
It's not indicated, Mr. Chairman.
So is that a complete asset register?
No, it's not.
Auditor General?
Chair, it's not complete.
Senator Matthew?
Maybe just for clarity, clerk, and I'll actually be surprised if you are not confident, as the chair and the vice chair is saying, because I remember you were even willing to come and stand with the governor when he was here, and we told you your day will come. Your day has come. Now,
Okay. Now you might land him in trouble if you remind me of that.
no, I don't want to remind you, but let me just go straight to my question, clerk. Let me not put you in problems. The county assembly has 3 vehicles. Only 3 vehicles.
Yes.
Including the ones that you inherited from either municipal council, county council. You didn't, in fact, inherit any cars from anywhere.
We ever, since inception of the county assembly devolution, the first batch of vehicles were bought in 2013. That was 11 years ago.
How many?
2. 2, and then 5 years later, we added 1. And this year we added another one. I mean, last year. So as
So you don't have grounded vehicles in your car yard?
We don't have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honorable members, the fact is that this schedule is not complete. And there's a template that has been provided. And I think we saw it when we were looking at Taita Taveta. Clerk, could you just, for the benefit of this clerk, just read out the minimum attributes with relation to motor vehicles, so that we can, when we direct him to go and update this asset register, he knows what to do.
Yes, Chairman, for the motor vehicles, we have financed by stroke source of funds in purchasing the asset, number plate of the vehicles, make and model, logbook number, and registered owner, year of manufacture, date of purchase, date of delivery, and acquisition cost, engine number, original and current location of the vehicle, date of disposal and disposal value, if any, and asset condition.
I think those were the attributes that were missing in that register. I think the auditor flagged what was missing, because otherwise, if it's the total list of attributes, chassis and engine number should be there. There's a template that has been provided, and we expect that there'll be full compliance with that. Senator Dulo.
Chair, I just wanted to ask, who are using these 3 vehicles, and have you disposed any since inception of the assembly?
Yes, we've disposed 2. The rest, one is used by the speaker, another one the clerk, and the other one is undergoing repair.
Is that still 3? You're saying you have disposed 2?
Yes.
And one is used by the speaker, another by the clerk,
Yes.
and another is undergoing repair.
Yes.
So you had 5 vehicles in total.
Yes.
So since we are dealing with 2022, when did you dispose the vehicles you're talking about?
We disposed it 2022.
So then they should have been part of this register for that financial year.
Okay.
So this is incomplete. Now, there's a variance of 400 million between the notes, between the value of fixed assets in the fixed asset register and the total value of assets disclosed in the financial statements. Auditor General, were you able to see the assets that constitute the 414 million?
Chair, this, the makeup of this value has not been disclosed to us.
Clerk, can you address yourself to the second paragraph, where there's a variance, an unexplained variance of 414 million on the asset register? Because the list you have provided here totals to 516,270, but it cannot be accurate because you have just demonstrated that there were 2 vehicles that were on this register in that year, which were disposed. It looks like you are just working to satisfy a number. So how do you account for the difference between 516 million and 101 million, as per the Auditor General's report?
On what item?
The second paragraph of the Auditor General's query flags a variance of 414 million between the 2 asset registers. You have not responded to it in your written responses, and yet it is the crux of the matter.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. We acknowledge the auditor's observation. However, we have now updated the asset register consisting of all information as required by law. The Assembly safeguarded its assets by putting in place burglar-proof doors and windows, CCTV cameras, full-time armed police officers, and ensure security of all assets. We have availed a copy of updated register for audit review.
How does that account for 400 million variance? Burglar-proof and CCTV.
Chairman, this was occasioned by the auditor not getting updated register at that particular moment in time. What caused this was we used to share the registry, finance registry, with the county executive in the same compound. But since in that particular year, the county treasury found itself another compound and moved everything. So part of files and documentation that we used to share the same store were moved. So they could not be available for audit at that moment. But we followed up some of our documents and got them back, and now.
Were you the clerk at that moment?
Yes, yes.
So you take responsibility for not securing the assets of the assembly during that period?
Mr. Chairman, we were domiciled in the same compound and the same registry with the county executive.
The separation of accounts happened in 2017. I was a chair. In 2022, it cannot be that you are still cohabiting with the executive.
We still share so much, Mr. Chairman.
Even now?
Yes, to date.
Whose responsibility is it to do the separation?
You all understand that the county executive are doing construction of their offices. They are still, in satellite, office. So most financial, documents and filings are still done in some spaces within the county assembly, especially some procurement files.
Yeah, but it does not matter where they are kept. Yes. What matters is every person to take ownership of their records, even if they're in the same room. But you should know that in that room, the assembly, our records amount to this amount, and executive, it amounts to the other amount, because whatever you're telling us is more of an excuse. This problem was resolved in 2017 in most county assemblies.
However, Mr. Chairman, I am happy to report that to date, now we do not have any we don't have any of our documents filing and lost elsewhere.
Yeah, I think Senator Cherargei, you talked about this condition, the physical condition of that area, but let me not bring it up now. Let's hear from Senator Nyonka, Senator Cherargei, and then Senator Fatumadulu.
Clerk, thank you. I wanted to ask you, Chair has raised an issue about the variance of 400 million. You've not talked about that. Maybe you could allow your CC Finance to explain. I mean, Director of Finance, sorry. Director of Finance.
I will.
Okay.
I think just, we need to be clear, Mr. Chairman, that the 414 million here we're talking about is an unavailed register at that moment in time, which we now have.
Okay, maybe let me not ask you. Control of budget. Auditor General's office. Do you agree with this explanation? Are you satisfied with it?
Chair, the makeup of this 414 million is not there in the register.
Thank you. You understand why I asked you the question?
Senator Adulo?
Yeah, Chair, maybe I would request OAG. It looks like the clerk has not understood the question. What is your expectation from them so that they can be able to correct the anomaly?
We expect them to give a detailed listing of individual assets and their values, and specifically pointing out the assets that led to the variance of 414,675,644, Chair.
So in other words, there are properties worth 414 plus that is missing from the asset register.
Yes, the total they have given is adding up to 516 million, but then the assets making it up is not listed. Yes, Chair.
You see, it's a question of they are guilty as charged. And it is now just upon us to pronounce ourselves. But we must also advise them that you need to have an asset management policy. You need to have an asset register that complies with the template issued by Treasury and the relevant bodies that in the accrual basis of accounting, issues of asset management are going to be treated differently. Auditor General, can you tell them what to expect with the accrual accounting that is beginning this year?
Beginning 1st of July, the accounting system under the accrual-based accounting will be very comprehensive. All the assets, especially the fixed assets, which were not originally brought into the financial statements, will now be reflected fully with their relevant depreciations, together with the receivables and payables, what they've been calling pending liabilities, which have been outside the financial statement, will now be an integrated part of the double entry system, which will be reflected in the annual financial statement.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Could you listen to Senator Cherargei first so that you respond?
One quick thing, clerk. Do you have an updated valuation roll? Number 2, this is your financial statement, so it cannot be the maker of OAG. Because if your financial statement, it is the one that brings this variation of 414,675,644. Are you able to explain? Because this is extracted from your financial statement. You are the maker of financial statement. The OAG is just interpreting what you have disclosed in your financial statement. So what would you say about this variance? Can we treat it as lost, misappropriated, or it can be explained? And you remember, clerk, this is almost 3 to 4 financial years difference. So if you had to explain, you should be. And finally, have you had a management sitting with the OAG? And you know these issues, clerk, and I know you have been there for some time, is explaining the management later that these issues are raised. I don't think these are the issues you will come and through the chair interact with you for the first time in the Senate. So what have you done to try and explain these variants? Or was it misplaced? You know, when you display the financial statements, is it sufficient to tell us the health of that entity in terms of financial?
Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Like I said, Mr. Chairman, what was at the time of audit, that is before us here, at the time of audit, Mr. Chairman, the updated register was not availed for audit, thereby explaining the variance in question. It does not go to say that anything is lost, nothing is lost in terms of our assets. But when now, when this came up, we availed here full list of updated register. What is missing from that register, Mr. Chairman, and we stand guided, is what the clerk to the Senate read out. For example, the vehicle, the particulars, additional particulars, which we stand
Okay,
guided.
clerk. So we agree with the Auditor General that the accuracy, completeness, and validity of your balance with respect to summary of fixed asset cannot be confirmed for that financial year. We shall make appropriate recommendations, but we have already directed you to prepare yourselves for the new accounting reporting requirements and to go to the templates that have already been done by the National Treasury.
The one on valuation?
Clerk, yes or no?
Have you allocated any resources
We
to make sure you have up-to-date evaluation rule?
we have factored it in this year's budget,
How much?
2 million.
Clerk, you know there's an
Enough. You
offense
need to
called
be careful.
there's an offense called perjury.
Yes.
You have taken oath and do not respond just to get off an issue.
No, we have.
Of what business is the assembly doing a valuation role? You have said you have you are preparing. You have a budget of 2 million.
Mr. Chairman, unless the question, I understood the question.
What question were you answering?
The question,
Maybe
No,
what's the
let-
variation role? That should be the easier question. What's the variation role?
um,
And you have your team there to
Maybe you can ask from anybody in your team what
Please do
evaluation
not
role
commit
is.
perjury. You have seen we have dismissed your speaker just for contempt. Perjury is a far worse offense. So be careful what you are confirming to the Senate.
Chair, let me confirm they don't have, and I don't think whether they are factored in the
Point of
budget.
order,
And that
Chair.
is,
Point of order. Senator Dulo is not part of the witnesses in this committee.
but I know.
Can he retreat to the role that
Okay,
he is a member?
clerk. No, I think she was just concerned the clerk is taking too long. Clerk,
But Dulo is not known of that type.
You know, what explains my earlier submission, Mr. Chairman, is that we do not have that particular evaluation committee. What we have,
Clerk,
yes,
I think you don't even understand what evaluation role is.
yes,
It's good to understand first.
okay.
Then from there, you can be able to answer the question.
that's why I'm guiding you. You do not come take an oath unless you do not believe in the God upon whom you swore that you can lie anyhowly. But even if you didn't believe in your God, the law criminalizes perjury. Boris Johnson in the UK was forced out of parliament for lying under oath. And if you're not careful, we would be pushing similar sanctions. Evaluation role is a responsibility of the executive because it is based upon rates, finance bill, and taxes on property is imposed. So unless you have property classes where you impose rates, that then would be the preserve of the executive. But yeah, like Narrow County Assembly, which has some property. So please reflect on your answers, reflect on your responses before you put them on record.
I think they can also guide the executive because they don't have one. So when their budget comes to you, those are the things you need to explain to them.
And you know, secondly, for example, Narrow County Assembly, the land that the Narrow County Executive sits on belongs to County Assembly. So they would have a valuation role to charge because they are charging land rate. And County Assembly, for example, you might have some property that you are levying. So you need to get it. Maybe, Chair, through you, do you have capacity challenges in the management of the County Assembly of Isiolo? You feel adequate?
Yes,
So if we get wrong answers for you, we nail it on your head.
of course, we signed the report off, yes. Mr.
No, can you know the problem, Chair, if you have noticed, the clerk does not take time to listen to questions. Because I'm asking, you said you do not have capacity challenges, and I'm happy you came with a number of women today. Number two, I'm asking.
Order, they are ladies. They are not women here.
Okay, ladies.
Honorable members, at 5 p.m., I think let's
Can
come
I
back to
finish,
the
Chair?
audit report.
Because what I'm asking the clerk is, do you have capacity, Chair? The clerk has said on side he doesn't have capacities. So I'm asking him, should you give us perjury or wrong answers? We take it on you. He says we have signed the report. Can the clerk be listening to questions first, internalize, then answer to allow us to progress?
Yeah, I think that's how we are going to make progress. Honorable members, on asset management, there's a serious problem which shall be aggravated in the next financial year because of the changes in reporting, but we have already told the county what to do. Budgetary
Just a
controls.
question, Chair. The land your office is sitting on, it belongs to you. Are you charging the executive to pay the rent because they are housed there? This is their property.
The title is in the name of
No,
which
but
entity?
title to it.
No, we have ownership documents. Title is in progress.
Is it in this asset register? The LR?
No.
What is the problem?
There is this titling process which is ongoing in Isiolo County, which is ongoing in the whole of Isiolo County. So it's in that process.
But I think you don't tie yourself with the challenge of Isiolo. You can actually process your own title as quickly as possible.
We shall refer you to Narok County, which we have used as an example of an assembly that has gotten a title on its property. Budgetary controls and performance, we'll take the written response on that and resolve prior year matters. We'll also take the written responses. On lawfulness and effectiveness, there was lack of a procurement plan. I can see that in your response you said that there was one uploaded on IFMIS. But if it was there, why didn't the Auditor General see it during the audit? Clerk, unless it was uploaded later. Clerk of the Assembly, you are asserting that you had a procurement plan and that IFMIS wouldn't have worked without a procurement plan. Why didn't you provide that evidence to the Auditor General at the time of audit?
I'll read the response first, Mr. Chairman.
It is 5 o'clock and I want us to deal directly with issues. We take your written response. Now I want you to explain why the Auditor General could not see the procurement plan at the time of audit.
Okay.
And if this matter was in the draft audit report, why you did not respond to it at that point so that it does not escalate?
It's the same, just like the asset register, Mr. Chairman. It was part of the data that moved with the files that were collected by the executive when they were migrating. And when during that particular audit period, we had not raised them.
Okay, so you agree that at the time of the audit it was not presented to the auditors?
Yes.
So we shall go back to the Public Audit Act and find out whether that non-provision of documentation was justified or unreasonable, and therefore propose appropriate sanctions. Lack of a PFM standing committee. Did you have it during that year, Clerk, or you have set it up subsequently?
We didn't have it that year.
It has now been established?
Yes.
Auditor General?
Chair is there now, but at that time, no.
Okay, so what you'll need to track is the effectiveness, whether it's doing what it's required to do. Failure to prepare and publish quarterly financial reports. Clerk, were you preparing quarterly financial reports in that financial year?
Yes.
And copying them to the relevant parties, because you're supposed to copy to the Auditor General, Controller of Budget, to the National Treasury, and Commission on Revenue Allocation.
Yes, we have not been copying to all institutions.
Where is the evidence? Because that's a requirement.
Yes, we can get the evidence because we've been sharing.
Does the evidence exist, or you're going to manufacture it?
No, they exist. They exist, but we've only been sharing, Mr. Chairman, with the National Treasury and the
What is the requirement of the law? Because that's what the Auditor General has cited, the PFM regulations. Auditor General, who should be served with those reports?
The response to that, Mr.
Now let's get the position of the law.
We should get a copy, the COB and the Treasury.
National Treasury.
And the National Treasury.
Yes.
There's a provision that also refers to the CRA, unless that is for annual statements. The Commission on Revenue Allocation. I remember I was discussing it in Eldoret with Nancy, whether those provisions are met. So, Clerk, please do not try to defend the indefensible. If you are not, even if you did it and you didn't circulate it to everybody, that is still a violation. What we want now, have you corrected that problem?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Control of Budget, you'll confirm to us whether they are sending to you?
Yes, Chair, they do, a bit late.
Okay. OAG?
I don't think we receive a copy.
You receive a copy.
Currently.
We have letters here. Currently, yes.
We are in trouble.
I'll find out.
Senator Dulo?
Chair, I just wanted to ask whether the Assembly prepares their expenditure report. That's number one. Number two, does the executive give you copies of the expenditure report for the purpose of tabling in the Assembly? You have evidence to that effect?
Yes, we do prepare our expenditure report, and the executive also. It has not been happening before, but lately we've made communications and.
OAG, what is the requirement? Because over the years, Isiolo has refused to actually provide expenditure report. Yes, expenditure report, what they have utilized.
You are asking?
I'm asking what is the requirement by law?
I know they are required to submit them to us, and if they don't submit, we report.
So they have not been submitting?
there's no evidence that they submitted these ones attached, but as regards currently, I'll find out. They are saying...
The one I'm asking is different from this one.
Yes.
The public finance management. No.
I thought to the OAG they submit the expenditure.
Quarterly financial report. I'm asking about quarterly
expenditure
report.
Isn't that what they are supposed to submit to you for you to do the quarterly budget implementation review statements?
We normally send the quarterly financial statements. So it also serves as a prerequisite for the exchequers releases. But the expenditure returns, okay, there's a difference between the financial statements and the expenditure returns. So we receive the financial statements.
Which provision of law requires them to do the expenditure returns?
I'll confirm that shortly.
But Senator Mtata is pursuing that matter in a case that would set precedent. Senator Mtata, would it be sub judice to for you to tell us what you are pursuing with respect to that? Because I think you have asked for expenditure returns in a county, and the county says that it's none of your business. How do we treat the concern of Senator Adulo? The mic.
The Speaker, unfortunately, that contempt card that the display gave us is the same contempt card we seem to get on the ground. And I think the purpose of that case was to restore the pecking order. That one is an executor and the other is a supervisor. And the supervisor is always higher than the executor. However much money. It's not a question of class, it's a question of status. You may be of a higher class, but you are of a lower status. The governor, the Speaker of the County Assembly are of a lower status compared to the senator. It's like if you go to a shopkeeper today, you want to buy a piece of sweet. The shopkeeper may be a billionaire, but you have just walked off the street, you live on the street. But because of your status as a customer, which is higher than his, as the owner of the shop, he'll forget his class and walk to serve you, sell you the sweet. Because without doing that, he loses his capacity to retain that shop. So the status of the senator as the supervisor of the county is what we want to restore by that pleading. And the court has found that the issue is fundamental to the architecture of the Constitution and certified this as requiring 3 judges or more to determine. So I think this idle concern that you can't audit the county assembly when the county assembly survives on, that you can't supervise the county assembly when it survives on money that is devolved, which we pass, is just some level of madness that you cannot place. Yeah, because without that money, the county assembly cannot function. We don't supervise the legislative work, but the way they spend the money, we supervise. They must account for how the money has been used. And so that's how it is. And I think the question of documentation that needs to be made available to the senator are very, very clear, including what Senator Dula just referred to. And it would help us if the county assembly and the county executives begin being transparent, because the only conclusion is that they're hiding stuff. They're hiding stuff, and the Auditor General's report is an opinion, which does not preclude a senator from going to do monitoring and oversight. In fact, an Auditor General does a postmortem of what has happened. He doesn't monitor and oversight in real time, which a senator would be expected to do, and especially through facilities like the Oversight Fund. He'd be expected to, in real time, supervise and even maybe intervene and stop something that's going wrong before it goes wrong. So that petition, if it succeeds, it's going to shake up the balance of power in the counties and the pecking order, and put the governors where they belong as juniors to the senators. And that's why it's very important to tell people that you are a senator of the Republic of Kenya. Cherargei can come to Busia and supervise the books of Busia. But Sang cannot come to Busia because Sang is a village boy.
Yes. Makofi.
Cherargei is a senator of the Republic of Kenya.
Yes.
So that's what needs to be understood.
We are restoring sanity.
That the Senate falls just under the speakers of the National Assembly. After the president, the deputy president, the speaker, then the Senate. There's no other order. And so that petition is going to restore that pecking order, and we hope that before when we get there, it will be important. It's important that we begin doing what the Constitution requires them to do, which is to be transparent and accountable. And more so the senator who is constitutionally mandated to follow this money and say how has it been used. There's no other way.
Thank you, Senator Mtata. You can trust on, we can trust on your tenacity to ensure that this matter is ruled in our favor. Number 5, irregular procurement of motor vehicle repair services. Auditor General, you had said there was something pending here. What was pending?
There was no evidence provided. Yeah, there was no evidence provided to show existing government contract or complexity of the model of the vehicle. Hence, the response was not satisfactory.
Clerk, did you provide that evidence? Is it here or it's still? It's not there.
We wrote to them, but they have not gotten us.
So that remains an irregular procurement. We shall pronounce ourselves. Unlawful contributions to SOCAT. We have taken a position on this particular matter. We do not have a problem clerks associating themselves under the umbrella of SOCAT, but we have a problem when that organization is funded by monies that are supposed to do other things. So we have a position on that. We are not going to go into details. Lack of a functional audit committee. Do you have an audit committee, Mr. Clerk? The word the auditor cited was its functionality and its effectiveness. Can you tell me the last time as a secretary to the board when you scheduled an agenda item to discuss the audit committee's report? Never.
I interact with the internal auditor's office, that is the secretary to the committee, and we do go through the agendas and the, I mean,
where do the reports of internal of audit committees, because there's internal audit department and there's an audit committee, where do their reports end? Do they end and die with the clerk, or they're supposed to be brought to the board?
With the board.
Have you ever brought those reports to the board?
Yes.
When?
We've the current audit committee's.
Have you as a board ever sat down to consider an agenda item report of the audit committee?
No.
And please remember your oath. No.
No.
So that's what the auditor is querying, that you have an audit committee, but it is not functional. So what assurances are you giving to the Senate?
Mr. Chairman, we are giving capacity to the department. We realize that they did not have enough human resource capacity, which we send them out for trainings to manage these committees. And going forward, the reports of these committees now shall be administered properly and as per the law.
I think, Clerk, this is why sometimes we feel like we are throwing money down a hole. When this Senate, these distinguished gentlemen and ladies come to Isiolo with a view to conducting an oversight meeting in Isiolo, you and your officers disappear. You only leave sergeant-at-arms to serve as water and to open doors. Yeah. How do you expect to build your capacity if you're not benchmarking and sharing experiences? We have looked at 46 other county assemblies and 47 county executives over the last 10 years. 470 assemblies, 470 county executives. We have experience that we can share with you. and tell you how another county assembly has made its audit committee effective. And then when we come, you run away. And the head of the board says those things that we have already dealt with. I think you guys must change your attitude, because Isiolo is not a republic on its own. It is a county that is bound by the same constitution and the same County Governments Act and the same PFM Act as the other counties. Senator Dulo.
I think, Chair, still the clerk has not understood the question. What we expect you to tell us is who are the consumers of your report. Auditor, internal auditor's report. So clearly, when you have the board meetings, you must table those reports, because it will guide you on how you are actually carrying out your procurement and all that. The challenges, the gaps, those issues are pointed out in the internal auditor's report. So when you have those board meetings, you should even table that report as an agenda of your discussion.
I'm being seriously harassed now. I don't know who protects me, because the person who is supposed to protect me. Now, crack, just a very quick one, and there's an English word that I'm not able to pronounce. Only the chair can be able to pronounce it, but it is something like, let me not even try, but it is the structure of the county assembly of your establishment. Just say it again. That word that I am not able to pronounce, I hope you are able to pronounce it yourself. I come from Nyandarua. It's difficult to pronounce some of these words.
Organogram?
Very good. Now that you know it, who is the senior most in your internal audit department? You have a principal, you have a director of audit, or who is the senior most?
The principal auditor.
You have a principal auditor. Yes. Does he sit in the county assembly management committee?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, he does. Oh, very good.
Okay, so I think there's a weakness in your audit committees, internal audit functions. Auditor General, please keep this in view, because this is not a matter that we can resolve. But ultimately, we must hold responsible the professional, because these are professional activities. At least the internal audit must be manned by a member of a professional institute. Even the audit committee, I believe that there are some professional qualifications. There are professional qualifications. So, clerk, this forms part of the agenda. We are advancing when we are meeting ISPAC later on, when we are doing the meeting of the critical stakeholders, that their members are letting county assemblies and county executives down. We will exit this report for 2022 just by asking one final question, which is not in the audit report, but it's in the financial statement. Clerk, under your schedule of expenditure, you spent 54.7 million and called it other expenses. What are these other expenses that cannot be broken down? 54 million. That is 10% of your budget. Clerk, can you offer an explanation? 10% of your budget was just described as other payments. What are these other payments that you guys do in Isiolo that cannot fit in the chart of accounts? In the prior year, it was 60 million. In your statement of receipts and payments, and I can see you're a signatory there, Clerk of the Assembly, Salad Boru Guracha, Accountant Abdullahi Kalthum Nuna. Is Abdullahi here? Abdullahi Kalthum Nuna, is Abdullahi part of this delegation? What's your ISPAC number? Are you in good standing with ISPAC? That needs to go on record. Please give her a microphone. Yeah, please state your name and your professional membership.
I'm Kaltum Abdullahi. My number is 29827.
Are you in good standing with ISPAC?
This year, no.
What is your role?
The year under review.
What is your role in the county assembly?
I prepare financial statements and the books.
And so you are preparing financial statements and yet you're not in good standing with the professional body.
The payment has been processed already
What payment?
for the membership.
Why aren't you in good standing? Were you struck off because of professional malpractice?
No.
So you prepared these financial statements. Tell us why you classified 10% of your expenditure as other payments, 54 million.
We prepared the financial statement as a team. So
You certified them as the ISPAC member. I can see it here. All the information is here. Can you tell me what this 54 million relates to?
Maybe clerk can explain that.
I seek your indulgence, Mr. Chairman. Which page is that?
Your statement of receipts and payments for the year ended 30th June 2022.
Just a minute, Mr. Chairman.
2022.
Clerk, you didn't come with your financial statements. What did you come to discuss? If you didn't come with your financial statements?
Look at page 3 of these documents.
Do you have a copy of your financial statements, Clerk?
Yes.
For the year ended 30th June 2022. Go to the statement of receipts and payments, which you have co-signed with Abdullahi Kalthum Nuna.
Chairman, we did not come with that. Oh, yes.
Because both signatories are here, they're in the room.
Through you, Chair. Clerk, the point Chair is making, and you are not an exception. We have been receiving this. You do your entries where you take a payment and you label it there as other payments. So we are saying, break it down for us. What are those other payments?
What do you use that budget?
Why do you use that budget for? What was it? In other words, itemize what you are trying to say.
And go to note 6. Note 6 is where you're supposed to provide the details. You have just said other expenses. And you see there's a footnote there saying, provide detailed explanations for other payments. Give us the detailed explanation why 10% of your expenditure is just described as other payments.
And Chair, through you,
Senator Mtata.
it's first of all, it's illegal to do that. Because what it is trying to ask them to do is to comply with the law, because you are allowed to itemize your budget. You cannot have other expenses in your budget at all. There's no provision for that. So the auditor general is trying to get to the foot and know, did you really do that? Because other expenses has become a pseudonym for theft. We have stolen it, so we are not accounting. We just call it other expenses. So this question is very serious because it touches on the question of the rule of law. The law requires you to say, I bought 10 pens. I bought an envelope. You cannot say you bought others. So that's why the question is very, very critical, because here we are looking at the evidence of theft of public funds. And we want you to say that you want you to prove that you did not steal this money. Because according to the law, you stole the money. So here I want you to tell us that you did not steal it. That's the question that the chair is putting to you.
Do we have an answer, or
Yes,
we ask ESCC to get to the bottom of this?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Why are you terrified when we talk about ESCC?
Not
Okay, Clerk, can you try to explain?
the breakdown of it is. I'm made to understand that part of that vote was used to pay pending bills and what do you call it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chair.
Senator Onyonka.
Okay, you said the money was used for paying pending bills. What are they?
Yeah, so, yeah.
Which ones?
we'll provide schedules of the same. It is annexed, Mr. Chairman.
Where is it?
It is annexed on page 23 of the document. Annex 3. 46.
So, what is the relationship between that annex and other payments? The sum there is 46. The sum here is 54. Those are not the same things. And what you have there are account payables. Those are pending bills. 54 million is actual payment. It's not a provision.
Okay. We can provide the documents to support this, Mr. Chairman.
Clerk, next time you come to the Senate, familiarize yourself with their financial statement, because that is what we are discussing. We are discussing the Auditor General's report on your financial statements. And I don't think that will be kind to provide time when we are dealing with statements that are 2 years old or 3 years old. Now, Auditor, because we'll probably be writing this report at the end of this month, we can give 7 days max for a breakdown of that 54 million and the 60 million. And please do not manufacture records, because we'll be scrutinizing it with our colleagues from the EACC.
But I think
Senator
in future they have to break it down, because it is illegal for them to put a blanket whatever.
Yeah, and I would have expected it to be an audit query because of the materiality.
Yeah.
It being close to 10% of the total budget.
Okay.
Clerk, I hope you have understood.
We go to 2021, which was a qualified opinion. On 2021, Auditor General, issue number 1, unsupported expenditure on domestic travel and subsistence. This was supported. Subsequently,
Yes, Chair, this one, the response was satisfactory.
does not take away the violation of the Public Audit Act, which requires that evidence to be provided at the time of audit.
Yes.
Number 2, inclusion of expenditure incurred in prior year in this year's financial statements.
Chair, this one is also responded to satisfactorily.
Unsupported expenditure on rent for MCA's offices.
Chair, there are 2 parts to this. The first part, a certified copy of the lease agreement, copy of original payment voucher and invoices are given at Annex 3, and we found that one satisfactory. But the second part, dealing with the payment voucher number 111K of 3.5 million, not responded satisfactorily.
Clerk, can you tell us where the payment voucher 111K, where the amount was charged into?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Kenya shillings, the 3.5 million of voucher number 11K was part of the 17.135, which was paid. We have now availed the same necessary documents for audit review.
Which account was the amount charged to? That's a question.
Account payable.
Auditor General,
Chair, no evidence.
where's the evidence, Clerk? Did you guys read this report before you came?
Yes, but
Because you look like you didn't read your financial statements, you didn't read the Auditor General's report. That is a question. Clerk, we will not be here, we cannot be here up to 6. Some of us are Sabbath observers. Senator Nyoka?
Clerk,
Yes.
it is okay to say you don't know. Just say, so that we are able to move on.
Chairman, the voucher in question, which is 3.5 million, you see, part of this, because due to lack of resources, funds for this office rent was paid, what we paid was 17.15. And
Did
that
you,
was what was available.
through you, Chair, Clerk, did you hear what the General said? Did you hear what he said? He said, even when you have said there were accounts payable, he's saying there's no evidence. So you leave it there.
Okay.
Because if you want to open this thing, you'll open it, it will go very far.
Okay, but just a little explanation. That particular transaction, there was a special audit team from the OAG's office that came to audit the account payable in question and qualified it the same for payment. We'll provide that particular report.
Why didn't you, through you, Chair, why didn't you tell him that before you came?
Maybe we did not think along that line.
Senator Mufai?
The whole idea, the whole concept here, Chair, is we are being subjected to oral evidence, which is not documented. So I think rather you better accept that the prosecutor who happens to be OG has cornered you because it doesn't have any evidence to that effect. Is that true? Clerk?
There's enough supporting documents for this.
Okay.
It is not before us, and you had an opportunity to submit that. We agree with the Auditor General that the accuracy and validity of 20.6 million cannot be confirmed. Variance in transfers from the county treasury, exchequer releases. I think this one the Auditor General has explained to us that 38 million was transferred directly to the car loan fund. It was an irregular accounting treatment because it shouldn't have been transferred direct from the county executive. It should have hit your accounts. So this one perhaps will just be questioning the professional diligence of the executive. Because ideally it should have come to the assembly and then transferred out to a fund. Clerk, is that your understanding? Fine, so we'll make our conclusions on that. Unsupported expenditure on hospitality supplies and services, where 1.3 was paid to a firm for provision of catering services for public participation for 900 participants. Evidence revealed that only 162 people participated in the public participation. Clerk, did you spend 1.3 million on 162 people or on 900 people? Where is the evidence?
We've attached the same as at Annex 5.
Senator Methu.
Chair, I hear that you're a Sabbath, so we have to read by 6.
That's why I went direct to you.
So I also want to be direct, but in the same book that you read, we have to remove the camel from the well. If you have to get there. Now, in that evidence that you have attached, because I just want to go straight, just go to number 3 of your evidence, the receipt from Tazab Company Limited. It's easy, it's your document, very easy.
Yeah.
I want you to be there. No, it's attachment number 5, but number 3 in the is 1, 2, 3, the page number 3. Are you there? Yes. On the receipt?
Yes.
Just go to the second item on the receipt. What is it? No, you just put the mic on, yes?
Of 10th.
Higher of 10th. For how many days?
40 days.
How many days?
4 days, yes.
4 days. How much for higher of 10th for a day?
15,000.
How much? So how much is?
Don't switch off the mic when you're responding, clerk. Yeah.
So 1 day is 15,000, and you had for 4 days. How much is the total? Put on your mic. Just don't switch it off. How much is that?
300.
4 days, 15,000. Don't put on your mic.
Leave your mic on.
Just leave it like that. It should be on just like that. So how much is 4 days times 15,000?
60,000.
So how is it adding up to 300,000?
These are 5 events.
Sorry?
5 times, yeah. Yeah.
From your explanation of your receipt,
Yeah.
or somebody can help you,
Yes.
so that I am able to understand, yes?
You know, you're talking of 5 different tents. What the price given here is a unit price.
Okay.
Yeah.
For one tent, 1 day,
Yes.
100 seater.
Yes.
100 seater.
100 seater, yes.
15,000.
Yes. It could even be more.
Or maybe from Isiolo, you need to tell us. Is it one tent that is costing 15,000?
Yes. It's not necessarily 100 seater, Mr. Chairman, but you're talking of 5 different tents.
Yeah, 5 different tents of what capacity? I mean, because you see, you are the one that is procuring this service. So in the procurement, you must have specified the kind of service that you are looking for.
180.
Sorry?
180. 180.
And it is a tent minus seats, isn't it?
Everything, yeah.
Sorry?
Yes.
Sorry? It is a tent minus seats that is costing 15,000.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Then you hire the seats differently.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So one tent now plus the seats will cost how much?
You don't even have to go there.
Because we know this is the reason why the members of the National Assembly were very furious when you say that you want to add monies to the counties.
Yeah, they were accusing us.
A chair.
Yes.
The chair was going for, would go for 10 shillings.
Sorry?
I'm not able to hear you.
May I explain?
Chair, can I? Senator Nyonka?
Maybe you would have allowed me to finish so that
okay, let's.
because I've not finished. If you just allow me to prosecute, then because he has not answered. I want to know what would be the cost of one tent with the seats.
Not even that. You don't have to go there.
No, sí, ya no está capaz.
57.20.
Can I take over from you?
Anyway, it's okay. Then the others
Yeah,
can.
and you see, even when you look at the attendance register for Garbatula Ward, you can clearly see that the names were written in the same handwriting.
Yes.
Someone
Actually-
sat under a tree somewhere at the stage.
Actually, Chair, that is the point I wanted to raise. Clerk,
No, before you go there, Senator Onyonka, Clerk, look at that that title. It clearly says hire of tents for 4 days at 15,000. Yeah? And then the amount in total is 300,000. Does it make sense?
Look at the quantity.
No, the way you have explained on your receipt, does it make sense?
No. Yes, it makes sense. It does.
Does it make sense? How? Because for us, we didn't sit in your
we have quantity. Okay.
Where? Because the explanation is higher of 10 for 4 days.
The first column of the receipt.
Yeah.
First column of the receipt gives quantity.
Senator Mufa.
What is your background?
I'm a lawyer.
Oh, you're a lawyer?
Yeah.
So did you have time to look at this document before you came?
Yes.
You went through them. Did you find time to notice what we are noticing now?
It's fairly, yes.
Honorable members, we cannot arrive at any conclusion different from that of the Auditor General, that the value for money for that expenditure cannot be confirmed.
Chair, just a point of information to the clerk. Clerk, look at your annexure number 5, the attendance register. It's not paginated, but try your level best and pick. It's like in the middle. The one which shows the number of people that you are giving the food and whatever. You get? Can you see it?
Yes.
I'm so happy you're a lawyer. What do you see in page 1? If you look at the handwriting of the person who was writing that list, see, it's the same handwriting from top to bottom.
What you see, Mr. Chairman, is this is a largely illiterate society,
No. Now, we are not discussing the illiteracy of the people and what they are not there. By the way, even my grandmother, she always puts a fingerprint, right? And these days, my grandmother has a phone. Do you have any phone here of the agents or the people who you called? No. Then you go to 3 pages after that. Look at the 3. You can run through this. You picked 5 people, same handwriting, same everything. They wrote the list. Nobody verified it. No phone number. Nothing. And you just presented this as 900 people. Most probably you did it last night.
Chair, how did you reach these people? Through the chair. How are you able to reach 900 people? You did a public balaza?
Yeah.
Mostly we involve, we conduct our public participation through
And Chair, like please, a small thing, Chair. Very small. I will not waste your time. Go to the hotels, Gabraha hotels. You remember the annex number 3?
Yes.
Garba Raha Hotel. Those invoices, I believe this exercise which took place within a certain period, isn't it? Go to the dates and see how you've numbered the dates. 0907 2019, 0904 2019, and then there is a 2018, then there is a 2018, then there is a 2018.
Yes.
We together?
Yeah.
And all these receipts, have nobody received them, have nobody who stamped them. I could have picked them from Kirinyaga Road. They would have done the job, right? You understand why our auditors are in the mess they are with you.
Yeah, Chair.
Thank you.
Honorable members, we have demonstrated
Just one question.
the mess.
Just one, if you allow me.
Senator.
Because I want to understand that the concerns of the clerk is clear before this committee. Honorable Clerk, is it your submission before this committee that you conducted 4 meetings? For the 2 votes, you conducted 4 meetings. Because that is what is in your records. 4 meetings, yes. Isn't it? Yes. And in each of the meetings, 900 people turned up. In all the meetings, you never got 905, you never got 895. In all the meetings, there were specific, different places, specific people, 900 for all the meetings. Is that your submission to this committee?
Can you go on record, clerk?
I mean, that is in your record. That is a kind of thing that you have provided in your record. That 900 people took tea, first meeting.
900 is not for 1 meeting. 900 was a collection.
It's not that the question, clerk, is the method what is trying to make you understand is in all the 4 meetings, those people, 900 people, not 191, 800 or 700, just the exact number. Do you quote them?
I think we have seen these games. We've seen enough of them. Order clerk. We agree with the Auditor General that there was no value for money here, and if we are having fake appendices, that is an offence, And for small things like this, perhaps you might want to be telling ESCC to do the right thing. We shall pronounce ourselves as we bring a report to the House. We go to unsupported expenditure to CAF. There our position is clear. Unsupported expenditure on SOCAT, the position of the Senate is clear. Failure to update the fixed asset register, we have discussed that at length. Failure to consult the Attorney General before hiring private lawyers. I think this we must look at against the County Attorney Act, because the County Attorney Act came into force in it have been overtaken by events. Procurement plan, we have dealt with. PFM standing committee, we dealt with that in the prior year. Quarterly financial reports, we dealt with that. Failure to present financial statements in accordance with the standards, we have dealt with that. And I noticed that Abdullahi Kalthum Nuna was not the signatory in this year. What are the whereabouts of Monica Kirote Rukwaro? Clerk. Where is Monica Kirote Rukwaro?
She's out for maternity leave.
She's out for maternity?
Yes.
Now, she prepared financial statements that were not in compliance with the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board. Clerk, we shall add her to the list of shame, which we are escalating to ISPAC. Yes. Unsupported expenditure on accommodation allowance. Auditor General, what part of this was still outstanding?
Chair, although the management's attached supporting documents, no response was given to show why the assignment was done outside the duty station.
Yeah, you see, there are some of these things are annoying, Clerk. That you spend 700,000 for officers documenting Senate audit responses. An activity that was held at Rangerlands Hotel in Meru County. Things that you should have dealt with at the time of audit, causing an additional unnecessary expenditure, a charge on public resources. This one, I think we must impose a surcharge.
In fact, Chair, I want to propose that the clerk should be surcharged.
Because that provision is there in the Public Audit Act, that the auditor may propose a surcharge.
Yes.
Where public funds have not been properly applied.
Mr. Chairman, for instance, not only limited to an activity like this one, where UN staff who come for such meetings to honor invitations by this honorable house, we have to facilitate them. That activity was not only confined to analysis of documents, but also included.
We agree with the Auditor General that the value for money for 700,000 expenditure cannot be confirmed. That brings us to the end of that report. And it is, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to adjourn before Sabbath, but I think Senator for Isiolo should
Chair,
maybe the clerk to go first, then we allow you to do the closing remarks on behalf of the committee. Clerk, anything in closing in 1 minute?
I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Honorable Senate and all stakeholders that are flowing together. We understand, we value and respect the role of the Senate in strengthening devolution. We most of the time, it's an experience for us. Every other time that we visit the Senate and such processes, we go home, we go back with knowledge and information, that will enable us to perform our functions better. So we sincerely are grateful and hope that future reports and future interactions will be less, active.
First, before Senator Dulo closes, ESCC, you have done a corruption risk assessment. It was for which financial year? Or which operating year?
It was done in December 2021, Chair.
December 2021. Now, as part of our directives, clerk, you must cause that report to be tabled before the board, the same way we said the report of the audit committee must be brought to the board. Within 3 months, the board must discuss and, in writing, recommend action on EACC's corruption risk report. We are also directing, having observed the gap in appreciation of Chapter 6 of the Constitution, that you incorporate in your training plan training on Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity. We have seen that even the head of the County Assembly Service Board does not seem to know what the Constitution requires him to do. And by extension, the rest of the Assembly, through your demonstration of desertion, when we came to Isiolo, it would appear that you are an advocate who was trained on the old Constitution and you have not come to terms with the new Constitution. So we are giving those directives in 3 months. The board must be seized of the report of the EACC, and the board must put in place a training plan on Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity. I hope it will not be used as an avenue for another procurement fraud, but it will be used to close the gap that has been evident before us. And I think finally, clerk, as an advocate, you have the responsibility of interpreting and guiding people on what the law requires within the institution that you run. We need to see fidelity to the law from the Speaker to the clerk to the members of the County Assembly. You have that responsibility as a CEO of that entity. You cannot be the biggest defender and disciple of the law when the Speaker is the biggest offender of the law. So we need to see some improvements. And it cannot be that a county represented by Senator Dulo would not know what your responsibilities are as far as the Constitution is concerned. Senator Dulo, your closing remarks.
Chair, before I do the closing remarks on the attendance list, I think this is not a standard that is acceptable. You have to provide a column for ID number of individuals whom you have invited. Yeah? So in future, when you appear before us, that should happen. Number 2, is your Public Accounts Committee functional, operational? How many reports have they looked at? Because why I'm asking this question, it should have been the Speaker to answer this question. And again, your members of the Assembly are not here. You are the CEO of the institution, you are the one to advise. Is your Public Accounts Committee operational? That is the question I want to ask you. Number 2, if it is functional, how many reports have they looked at? Yeah? Because I know very well it's not operational. And I don't think whether you can be able to lie me in that sense. Yeah? So I think I don't need an answer from you. What you need to advise your members, the Public Accounts Committee must be operational. And that is the role why your members are actually elected. Isiolo is facing a lot of challenges. Despite denial by the members and the Speaker that things are okay, Isiolo is not okay. Because you are not doing your oversight wrong. You are already in bed, and I can say this on Hansard, yes, with the executive. Yeah? There is nothing moving in that county, and I can say that for a fact. So I think this is not for you, but as the CEO of the institution, there is a reason why we are allocating this budget to this particular institution. 2 weeks ago, we have been fighting an increment for the counties to be given ceilings. We managed to increase the budget. But if you don't have what to show for, then there is no reason why we are fighting for the counties, and more so yourselves. I know you have appeared before Finance Committee as Isiolo County asking for an increment. Although I'm hearing out there, you are saying that you are going to get that budget without me. We will see how you are going to get that budget without me. Because that is the reason why I'm elected in this Senate. Yeah? But I think you need to put your house in order. Finally, the issues of actually your sitting, there is a big problem. You have adjourned your house 3 or 4 times this year. No quorum. You can see even the senator for Kisii is actually trying to add information to that. So I think there is a value in the reason why, that house should actually sit. But the sitting of assembly is affected because of several adjournments. I don't know whether your house business committee is operating. There is also a challenge. You sit and craft your whatever and you take it to the house. I mean, it's really illegal. And you are a lawyer, head of that particular institution. For heaven's sake. If you people are serious, we can be able to work together. Because the other day, you guys your people are standing out there condemning Senate and condemning myself. How do we work together when you're already in bed with the executive? We can't. Yeah? So, put your house in order. Serve Isiolo people. The mortuary. You have a health committee that you have promised is going to work. When I know executive mobilize people to say the mortuary is working, it's not working. Isiolo people are suffering. And we have a committee in the House that is elected to oversight the role of executive. That is not happening. And to make the matters worse, some of your members are standing out there saying there's nothing wrong with the county. I mean, it is disastrous. It's pathetic. So let me not add more, but I think you have to be serious with your work. And next time you come, your board members should appear before the Senate. It's not only you, executive. I think that is a must. Your board members must come with you. Thank you, Chairman. And I thank members for supporting Isiolo. And we hope to be working together to ensure that there is service delivery in Isiolo. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk of the committee, please make it be known to the clerks of other committees that the Speaker of Isiolo was named and the committee has demanded a written retraction and apology. And before he does that, he should not be allowed to appear before any other committee of the Senate. And that includes the Finance Committee, in case he wants to come to negotiate for ceiling revisions and all that. Please cause the other clerks to be aware. When the House resumes, we'll be bringing a motion. And if the motion goes through before we get that written apology, I think there'll be graver consequences, not just for the Speaker, but for the County Assembly of Isiolo. This meeting is adjourned.